Morning, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew. So, it's day 78 of the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour. RECT, Get Wrecked for Recovery. A bicycle ride across America to raise awareness that there are addiction recovery options available, that you don't have to die in your addiction. There's churches, celebrate recoveries, and rescue missions all over the nation, all over the world, that just want to help you and talk to you and love you if you find yourself bound by addiction. So I'm here at Central Baptist Church in Great Bend, Kansas. And last night, closed everything out, clicked upload on the video, and another cyclist pulled up. It turns out it was Jonathan from back. I was in the motel in Leote. He called. He had met another cyclist that was passing. You know, that's one of the things about these journeys is that, you know, we all kind of end up tying and networking together. And so he called me and asked where I was and, you know, how the snow was. He was in 13 inches of snow. Well, anyway, he pulled up last night, and so he had done 100 miles yesterday. And we got to talking and had a good time just chatting about everything, about, you know, his story and my story. And it was just really good. And at the end of the night, he was like, so how do I donate to you? And so I told him, you know, Venmo at Eden's Redemption, or I've got a 501c3. I'm with International Gospel Outreach. You can donate there if you need a tax-deductible receipt. And he said, I'll Venmo you. He Venmoed me $50 sitting right here at the table. So cool. Then right after that, remember I was trying to go to bed early last night. Miss Grumman from the church pulled up, and she was like, do y'all need to use the facilities? You know, we can let you in to use the facilities if you need to. I was like, no, thank you. You know, I'm okay. And Jonathan was okay too. So then she left. Well, then we went to sleep. And then this morning, Daniel, who is the pastor of the church, showed up. And he came up and talked. And we had a really good conversation. He let me put one of my stickers on the electrical panel right there. So thanks, Daniel. And yeah, so like I spoke about yesterday, you know, the Great Bend wasn't on the trail till last year, and so they're still trying to work through all the details of making this a bicycle friendly, a viable bicycle friendly spot for people that are crossing on the trail. He even tried to work out getting showers okayed with the gym across the street, but that didn't kind of pan out, so they're looking into what they can do here now. But yeah, again, just so thankful for the church being the church in these areas, that they're just opening their doors and saying, hey, here, we love you. We want to show you that we do. You know, not a set of rules or regulations. We want to love you. Not that the rules and regulations aren't important. But the love, you know, I think it's like in 1 Corinthians 13 where Paul says, you know, if you know all mysteries and you know, you can prophesy, you got all this stuff, but you don't have love, it's nothing. And so, yeah, love is the hallmark of our faith in Christ. And it's really the determining factor that separates the sheep from the goats, for sure. Anyway, with all that being said, I am actually going to get out pretty early today, and I'm going to head. I know I've got to do 56 miles, so I'm going to go get a big breakfast, and then I'm just going to pedal, and then if I make it that far, then I may attempt to go farther than that, just depending on how I feel. Each day is so totally different. I really don't know what to expect on any given day because every day is different, and I'm thankful for that. But it's also, you know, a quick way to change plans very quickly when I have thoughts in my mind of how it's going to be, and then it's not that way. But anyway, I'm going to keep this video short. I love you guys. I'll see you later. right, what a beautiful city Sterling, Kansas is. Great sunset, and yeah, just really, really gorgeous town. Just out here in the middle of nowhere. It is beautiful. I can't state that enough. I'm glad that I came to Sterling. I wasn't planning on it. I was planning on going to the next town. And I got like right there to the intersection and saw all those signs, and I was like, I think I'm supposed to go to Sterling. So I ended up going, I guess 45, 46, maybe 50 miles. I haven't checked it. I spent a lot of time in the saddle today. Man, it must have been 5 or 6 hours at least. Just a steady headwind. Direct headwind all day long, and it just beats you up. But yeah, I had planned on going to the next city. I came here. I still have to go set up camp. It's 8 o'clock. But I had to stop and get a pizza. So I'm going to eat some of my pizza and then pack the rest of it up and take it with me. But yeah, super good day of riding. Kansas changed. All the scenery changed from cornfields to marshlands. And it was just gorgeous. I really enjoyed the ride today. Even in spite of the wind. I guess I'm learning how to deal with it. So yeah, you know, one of the things that I did today was drank out of an artesian well, and it got me thinking about drinking the living water. And I had this whole like thing go on. I didn't record much video, like, you know, audio sections of me today because my battery just stayed low all day. And I knew going 56 miles I wanted to conserve some of it for the ride. But earlier this morning I was thinking about David in the Bible, where he talked about in Psalm 23, you know, that you'll prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And I was thinking about how that was probably communion, you know, the wine and the bread, because I doubt that, you know, there would just be this feast in the presence of his enemies. Maybe so, but my mind was just running, and so I was like, wow, that's cool. And then I started thinking about the wine being like the wrath of God, the cup of the wrath of God. I said, you know, but David was joyful about his cup overflowing. And so it really kind of got me thinking about, you know, the living water when I got to the well. And so I was like, that's two different types of drinks. And it's interesting that Jesus calls himself the living water, that if you come to him and you thirst, you'll never thirst again. He tells that to the woman at the well. And, you know, then I started really kind of diving in. And, you know, later on in the New Testament, it talks about that Jesus was made sin, who knew no sin, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. And so I was like, he was made sin. And then I thought about the water being made wine. And so I just saw this beautiful picture of, you know, Jesus turning the water into wine. He even says to Mary in that chapter, in John chapter 2, he says, you know, she says they need more wine, and he says, my hour has not yet come. Woman, what have I to do with you? My hour has not yet come. And so I was thinking, why is he thinking about the crucifixion at that moment at the wedding? I mean, a wedding's supposed to be joyful and celebratory, and what keyed him in on, you know, the crucifixion? And I bet that he watched the last drop of wine poured out. And then immediately his mom was probably like, hey, they need more wine. And I can just imagine him thinking, you know, my hour has not yet come. And so I saw this miracle, you know, that that he did with turning the water into wine, making the water wine. And I thought about that. On the cross, Jesus, the living water, became sin. He became the wrath of God, essentially. The wrath of God was poured out on him. The water was made wine. That was his first miracle, and it was his last. Not that the crucifixion was a miracle, but you follow what I'm saying. Again, I'm not like a trained preacher or anything. This is specifically thoughts coming from my meditations and pedaling, and so I haven't had time to study that out or anything. It was just my thoughts from the road for the day. So I'm going to end the video here on that note. And yeah, if you know anyone who has passed away from addiction in any form or fashion, Please drop their name in the comments or find me on Facebook, Adam Lineberry, Mobile, Alabama, and I would love to ride for your person and celebrate their life with you for a day. Each day I pray for the family and friends of that person all throughout the day that I pedal. If you know anyone who's actively addicted, share this with them. I don't want to see anybody else die from addiction, and I know you don't either, so let's use YouTube as a tool to hopefully save a life. If you know anyone who's in recovery, share this with them. We're all in it together, and I definitely need the recovery community's prayers and support as much as I pray for and support the recovery community. And last but not least, Redeeming Eden is a non-profit ministry through International Gospel Outreach. I'll leave a donation link in the description. Just click the down arrow and you can find it. You can go there, you can donate one time, you can donate monthly. It's whatever the Lord puts it on your heart. If He puts it on your heart just to pray, then just pray. Prayers got me to Sterling, Kansas, and I'm thankful for it. And know that any funds that are left over from the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour will go to building Redeeming Eden, the Garden Rehab. So that's what we're pedaling toward together, and I thank you for your prayers and your support and your participation and your comments and subscribing to the channel and liking the videos on YouTube and sharing the videos on your social media platforms. I cannot thank you enough for that. So from here at Gambino's Pizza in Sterling, Kansas, from this hungry bike rider that's ready to get some rest, I love you guys. Jesus loves you. I'll see you later. Have a good night.